everybody? This is the Pop Culture Junkie here again, checking out a new Let's Play video. That's right, we're doing another WWE 2k17 Let's Play video. Today we're doing a Elimination Chamber match for the vacant WWE World Wrestling Federation Championship from 88 to 98, alright? Our competitors are Samoa Joe, Cesaro, Sami Zayn, Big Show, Dolph Ziggler, and Jimmy Uso. Alright, so here we are at the Elimination pay-per-view, and the match starts with Sami Zayn versus the Big Show. I am controlling Samoa Joe, so we're waiting for Samoa Joe to come out, and then I would be participating. So for now, let's check out what happens in the ring. So we got Big Show against Sami Zayn. Now, of course, Elimination Chamber. It's not it's not used as often as it used to be. The match itself, they kind of got a little carried away with it and started having like 2 or so on a pay-per-view, and they would have the Elimination pay-per-view itself. Then also they would start to use the match for just weird reasons at times. They wouldn't really have a big storyline. They'd just say, hey, the Elimination Chamber pay-per-view is coming up. We got to throw 6 guys in a ring for whatever reason. There's been some good ones. There's been some really bad ones. I still think my favorite Elimination Chamber match of all time is still the very first one. I mean, that's how it goes, right? The first one's hard to top, and it really was. The first one, of course, was for the WCW, which was then called the World Heavyweight title after that, but it was really, to me, the big gold belt. It's always the WCW title belt. It's always, even though they called it the World Heavyweight title, to me, it's always the WCW title. It just is. It was Vince's way of getting to show off that, you know, he bought out WCW and now he could do whatever he wants with that title belt. But they just, you know, he wasn't going to keep calling it the WCW title belt. He didn't want to call it that anymore, but still. Anyways, the original first Elimination Chamber match was for the World Heavyweight title. And I believe, yeah, Triple H was the champion at the time. And this match was famous for a number of reasons. One, of course, it was going to be the very first time we ever saw the Elimination Chamber, structure. We hadn't seen this before. This is a brand new match. It was introduced on Raw in, what was this, 2002? Yeah, this was 2002. And it was introduced by Eric Bischoff, who was the Raw GM at the time. And I remember when he came out on Raw, he said this match is going to be a combination of, I believe he said it's going to be a combination of War Games, combination of Hell in a Cell, and like the Royal Rumble or something. He said it's going to be a combination of the 3, which kind of is. It's basically just a 6-man elimination match, except everyone doesn't start the match together. You have 2 competitors to start, similar to the Royal Rumble. It's held inside a giant structure, just like War Games and Hell in a Cell is, you know, that kind of thing. And then, of course, the participants are entered every, like, 2 minutes or so. I think maybe 5 minutes is the actual time in the actual pay-per-views and such. But now I see, okay, here I come. We already got Dolph Ziggler and Cesaro have already joined the match. We got Ziggler and Big Show fighting outside the ring. I'm trying to get in here, and I'm going to get over here and let me mess with Cesaro. Oh, wait. Well, if I can. Alright, so I am Samoa Joe. I'm trying to get Cesaro or Sami Zayn's attention. Not really happening yet. Here we go. I got someone there. There we go. And, okay, already he's going to block something. Now, let's see. Samoa Joe. Okay, I don't know everything there is to know about Samoa Joe. I know him from little bits of TNA. I never saw him in Ring of Honor. I never watched Ring of Honor at the time. Honestly, I just did not have any way to watch Ring of Honor. Anywhere it was available on TV, I didn't have access whenever, when Samoa Joe and CM Punk, when they were in the company together. I know they had the Summer of Punk. They had a lot of matches, apparently, from what I saw later on. And apparently they were really good, but I did not get to see those. I was not introduced to Samoa Joe until TNA, whenever he joined that company. And I started watching it and liked him. Thought for a guy his size, very athletic, great agility. I've always liked he doesn't look like your typical wrestler, and I like guys like that. I don't think the greatest wrestlers ever are the ones that are chiseled and they look like bodybuilders. Like a Lex Luger or like a Hulk Hogan. Something like that. They're everyone has their ups and downs for being a good wrestler, but yeah, to me, like somebody like him, Vader, those kind of guys, they were very talented and they could put on a match very well. Okay, I'm not saying Vader can put on a match with anybody, but Samoa Joe was able to do some really great matches with like Christian, with Sting, with Kurt Angle, of course. When Kurt Angle joined TNA, everyone was like, okay, we're going to see some matches with Joe and Angle. It's going to happen. And if it doesn't happen, they're wasting a lot of money on Angle because he's somebody that can really bring out a lot in someone like Samoa Joe. And I'm really glad to see that he has now joined NXT. He wrestles for the NXT. He's been NXT champion now. I have high hopes that he may possibly pop up at the Royal Rumble at the end of the month here. Okay, Cesaro's not gonna let me do that. Okay, still don't have an elimination, but I think Ziggler's got one of the. Nope. But Cesaro's got me tied up, and the ref is still not paying attention. And I think I just got eliminated. Yes. And I don't know if you noticed, the little gauge did not even move. I'm clicking buttons. I don't even know how I got eliminated there, but I got eliminated. So I am out. And okay, so Flying Uso off the top, took care of Ziggler real quick. Sami Zayn tossing Big Show around like a rag doll, which I'd love to see that happen in real life. Now the Elimination Chamber match itself, I've always liked, and like I was saying earlier, the very first one was probably one of my favorite ones of all time. It had a lot of good moments. You had a lot of great competitors in that match. To give you an example, if you're not familiar with the original Elimination Chamber, it consisted with Triple H defending the world title against Rob Van Dam, Kane, Booker T, Chris Jericho, and the newly returned Heartbreak Kid, Shawn Michaels. He had just come back earlier that year. Originally, of course, he came back with the NWO because they were going to have him join the NWO after Hogan became more popular than they expected at WrestleMania 18, of course. And they had Shawn Michaels come back in to join up with Kevin Nash and X-Pac, and I think Big Show had just been part of it too. And then they did the really silly segment where people actually thought Booker T was going to become a part of the NWO, which no. They took care of that real quick. But then they had, unfortunately, Scott Hall was part of the NWO when they came back in 2002, but they had to let him go because of a lot of issues going on behind the scenes. And then Nash, unfortunately, got injured when he came back. And when he came back from injury, he got himself injured again in a match where it kind of looked like he tripped over Booker T laying there, but anyways, so then that canceled the plans for the NWO because I think they were going to try to do something where they had the NWO of Shawn Michaels, Kevin Nash, and X-Pac, and they were going to recruit Triple H. They wanted to get Triple H to join up. So you basically would have the Clique, basically. And, for some of you that don't know, if you weren't around during the Attitude Era, okay, the Clique, of course, was the little nickname that Shawn Michaels and Razor Ramon, Diesel, X-Pac, and Triple H, and you could also say Just Incredible were part of as well. And so they were the backstage, that was their backstage crew, not backstage crew, that was the Undertaker's group, but the group of them was known as the Clique. And whenever in '96, when Nash and Hall left the WWF to go to WCW, at the time, within just a few months or a year later, or not even a year later altogether, when you had WCW running strong with the NWO faction. That was started with, Wolfpack of Six-Pac, which was X-Pac, and Scott Hall and Kevin Nash, who were part of the Clique. In WWF, in '97, you had Triple H, Shawn Michaels, and of course Chyna had joined up by then. But you had those three making D-Generation X. So in a roundabout way, if you really look at the history book or the history timeline, two of the greatest factions, the NWO and D-Generation X, were from the Clique. I mean, that's how one way to look at it. I mean, that's not the whole story. A lot of other people will say, oh, Eric Bischoff's been interviewed saying, oh no, NWO was taken from Japan because they had a gimmick like that going, which is fine. That's true. But the key players, that's who started it. Of course, Hogan joined NWO in late '96 at the Bash at the Beach and all, and rode the coattails of the popularity of Nash and Hall. But of course, Hogan, thankfully for Nash and Hall, was able to really get the business aimed towards them more. We know how that went. But yeah, anyways, we're off track here. I'm going way off with a lot of history here. Anyways, let's focus back on the match. I already see Sami Zayn and Big Show have been eliminated. Ziggler's in the red. Cesaro's taking a break outside while Jimmy Uso's really getting worked over by Ziggler. About to get put into a finisher, it looked like, but Cesaro just broke it up. Now, one of the highlights from the original Elimination Chamber match that I loved was you had Rob Van Dam in there. And I really wish Rob Van Dam was still part of WWF right now because he was always entertaining. He wasn't the best on the mic, at least not by WWF way of doing it. In ECW, he was great, but that's when you let people be themselves and let them just talk. Scripted, no. I never cared for his scripted promos because I just don't like scripted promos. I like whenever wrestlers can talk and they're allowed to talk and speak how they want to speak and say what they want to say. Not everyone's got the talent to just creatively come up with things to say that are interesting, but a lot of people do. Anyways, Rob Van Dam during the match basically did a Spider-Man move where he gets slung over the top rope into the cage wall and just grabs the wall and manages to crawl across to the top of one of the pods. And then I believe he did give a 5-star frog splash. I cannot remember who he delivered it to, but it was great. And of course that match ended with Shawn Michaels giving sweet chin music to Triple H and winning the World Heavyweight title, which was the first World Heavyweight title or any kind of world title that Shawn Michaels had held since WrestleMania 14 when he lost the title to Stone Cold Steve Austin. All right, we just got a finisher by Cesaro. He's got it on the Uso. 1, 2, 3. All right, we're down to Cesaro and Ziggler. Ziggler looks like he got busted open, and they're both banged up, but Ziggler's looking really bad. DDT, he needs to work on Cesaro's body or knock out a finisher or signature real fast. Okay, he's working on the arm. Now, who remembers ECW, I mean the WWE version of it, where they did a ECW December to Dismember match, or I'm sorry, pay-per-view. It was in, late 2006? Yeah, that was the year the RVD won the title. And then, of course, had to lose both the titles and such. And then the Big Show became the ECW champion. And they had a ECW pay-per-view. And it was the one and only ECW pay-per-view under WWE, not counting the one-night stand ones and such. But they had, for their main event, and it was supposed to be really great because it was supposed to be an ECW event. So you're expecting nothing but hardcore, no rules kind of matches. And they had for their main event a Elimination Chamber match for the ECW title. And as a gimmick, they had random weapons hanging up around the cage. I believe they had that. Otherwise, they had everyone had a weapon of some sort in their pod. But all right, well, 1, 2, 3. Ziggler is the winner, and he has won the vacant WWF World Heavyweight Championship, the 1988 to 98, or 89 to 98 title belt. Very cool. Okay, so again, I was not controlling for very long. My character Samoa Joe did not last very long. I don't know why. It looked like I was in the match and right out of it and could not kick out to save my life. So I don't know why. But I hope you enjoyed this video. Hope you enjoyed the commentary.